bag. So, why is Mr. Joe Rogan such a sleazebag? He has all these Epstein people on his show, right? He's always buddy buddy with some of the most corrupt people and politicians in the country. He loves to pretend like he's objective, but he's very, very aggressive when it comes to Democrats and the left when they do something he doesn't like. Not so much when it's coming from the right. When the right does stuff, it's kind of like, I've seen him laughing at things, like really, really corrupt things, and he finds it funny. He doesn't laugh at when Democrats do corrupt things. It's not funny. It's, right? And not even him is saying that one party is more corrupt than the other. It's just, that's how he responds. Democrats or the left do something bad, it's kind of like, man, these Democrats, right? When someone on the right does something bad, it's kind of like, well, or he's laughing, right? But let me explain why this is the case, right? Not that specifically, but just him being a sleazebag, as the title states. It's an unfortunate reality. It's not an excuse, first of all, but it is an explanation. Joe Rogan is very wealthy, right? And I think getting there has had him rubbing shoulders with some other very wealthy people. And over time, he's built a social circle with a lot of very wealthy people. But then beyond that, he doesn't really have a choice necessarily, or it's not an easy choice anyway, in terms of his social circle. He's Joe Rogan, right? He can't hang out with regular people. I'm not saying that that's not possible at all, but generally speaking, he can't hang out with regular people, right? There's so many issues. I mean, think about, you have the ability to be flying on private jets, right? And you're friends with someone who's driving a beater car. I mean, it's just, there's so much issues with that in terms of, like, this person is struggling and you have all this money. You could fix them, right? You could fix all their problems with just like a wave of the hand, wave of the pen, right? Do you? Don't you? Right? And if you don't, do you feel guilty? Right? Does the person feel animosity to you because you're their friend and you could help them so much and you're not? Right? There's a lot of drama, man. It's complicated. And then even, let's say you go to an event, you want to invite your friend, and it's like $10,000 a table or something. You know what I mean? I mean, again, yeah, you could just pay for your friend, but then again, that gets weird now. And like, does your friend want you to keep, paying for everything for them? Like, does that make them feel very good about themselves? That you know what I mean? Like, do they really want to be like sort of taken care of by you? I mean, it's one thing for the friend that's going through a crisis and, he would love to some help with that, but just in general, like, you got to pay my way all the time and we're supposed to be friends. We're not like a couple. Like, it's weird. There's so many different things, right? There's even the usury in terms of when you have that, disparity between wealth, such an excessive level, can you really trust anyone? I mean, it's like, are you my friend because you like me as a person, or because I'm famous, or because of my money, right? So, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So it's complicated for someone like a Joe Rogan to have normal friends. So what that means is, I hate to use the word cage, but it's the best word I can think of right now. It's kind of like he finds himself in a cage, right? Again, through his work and his career, he's been rubbing shoulders with very elite people. It's just a job. It's not him doing anything. I mean, he's working with very wealthy people, all right? He gets to the high level with his podcast. Now he's doing deals with Spotify, whatever. Top level executives at Spotify are going to want to talk to him directly, probably, right? And then they probably want to develop a friendship with him, because he's bringing a lot of money, right? So maybe they hanging out to dinner and stuff like that, and then they introduce him to their friends. I mean, imagine thousands and thousands of these things happening for decades. That's going to build up a pretty big circle. But the cage comes in that any normal people that he knew before, like they fade away, right? I'm not saying, again, I'm not making an absolute statement. I'm not saying, I'm sure he's got a couple people that are like regular people, but overall, the net effect over time is that he would almost exclusively have a very elite social circle. So what does all of this mean in relevance to him being a sleazebag? So I see, I don't want to crash reading your name. Well, I'm going to stop right here. Let's see. Who's in the chat? Patricia Parrish. Good to see you. So I think where that leads him is, so now I set it up. He's hanging around a lot of elites. That's his social circle. That's his world, right? And I think one of the things, and again, I'm not excusing his behavior, but I think it's important to put yourself in someone else's shoes to understand where they're coming from. I think most people, they just look at Joe Rogan and they're annoyed with him and they think he's an asshole and he's whatever. And he is an asshole and he's corrupt and he's definitely doing a lot of damage to the country. But that aside, why? Right? What is going on with him? What is his situation? Many people maybe don't even care. Like, who cares? He's an asshole. I don't care. Right? But if you want to understand, then that's what I'm trying to do here. So the issue is, he's in this circle of people, these elites that he's hanging around with. These are people that are running the country right now, right? Donald Trump is subservient to that class of people. He wants to fit in. He wants to be hanging out with celebrities. He wants to be at the cool table. This is something he's always wanted, right? Flattery from celebrities and stuff like that. Any celebrity, big celebrity that loves Trump, he's gonna love them. Doesn't matter what. You could be a rap artist. Maybe he doesn't even like rap music. You could be a rap artist, whatever it is. If you're a big famous celebrity and you're like, Trump rocks, Trump loves you, right? So he's subservient to the elite class of people, right? And he's running the country. He's populated the government with a bunch of other elites, right? Billionaires and Wall Street people. So essentially, that class of people, they're running the country right now. The people who are not directly in the government, they might as well be. You see all those billionaires that were at the inauguration for Donald Trump, right? So what's the effect of that? The way the country is being governed right now, I mean, it's been that way before, but not to this level. Is basically taking the way that our country has been for a while, serving the elites, on steroids, right? So the tax policies, right, regulation, a lot of things, like even the crypto stuff, right? A lot of things that the elites that would be in Joe Rogan's circle, things that serve their best interests, are being served right now by the government right now, right? So where does that put Joe Rogan, right? That puts Joe Rogan in a circle of people who benefit from the corruption in the government right now that is, happening under Donald Trump, right? So the people around him, even though they may say on social media, perhaps, depending on who they are, if they don't want to do the full right-wing thing, they may say, Trump is bad or whatever. The reality is he serves their interests. So, for example, you see like Mark Cuban, right? Mark Cuban was like anti-Trump, whatever. Now he's in the White House grinning, right? So I don't think that's a rare thing. I think you have the ones who go full on, I'm right wing, I'm gonna pretend to be right wing, or I'm actually right wing, but I'm gonna be in the right wing circle, right? So I'm gonna be saying MAGA, we're woke, this is woke, and the left has gone too far, and everything free. Oh, Mandati with the free stuff and the free, everything free, and oh, socialism and this and that, and I'm gonna say those talking points, whether I believe them or not, to pander to the morons who still like Trump in 2026. Then you have the other type who, maybe because of whatever the reason, they don't want to go that angle. So what they'll do is they'll try to pretend to be kind of neutral, or they're not really into politics or whatever it is. and they might even, pretend to be against Trump, but in reality, they're getting the tax benefits. They're making a lot of money because of deregulation. Like the stuff that Trump is doing is they're living their best lives, right? They're the wealth in the billionaire class has just grown so much since Trump has been in office. So, with that being said, you have a huge social network of people who are benefiting directly from Donald Trump's policies, who are making so much money right now because of Trump, because of the corruption. So now, let's imagine Joe Rogan completely abandoning Trump and being honest about Trump, how corrupt he is, and getting really harsh and aggressive. The Republican Party, what are you guys doing? Da, 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 consistently, not just as an outlier. Almost his entire social circle is gonna be mad at him, and it's gonna put him as a sort of an ostracized person, right? He's gonna lose all of his friends that he's had for so long, and he's gonna become increasingly isolated. Now, again, I'm not making an excuse for him being an asshole. I would even say traitor to the country. I'm not excusing that at all. I'm just explaining, maybe so you can understand what's behind his thought process. Going against Trump too hard means shutting him down socially, and we're social creatures, right? The idea of him being isolated and just by himself, people think, oh, he's got all the money, but what you could have all the money in the world if you don't have anybody to enjoy it with, like, what is that going to do for you? Oh, and he's had it for a while, right? He's been wealthy for a while, so it's not like, ooh, I got a nice car. He has nice cars. He had nice houses, right? So really, every person is going to want to share it with people. Unfortunately, the people who he shares wealth with are very disgusting people who are benefiting from the corruption. So it's kind of like, either he's okay with the corruption, which I would say he probably is, or if he isn't okay with the corruption, he's not going to want to say too much about it because he wants to maintain his friendships. A lot of people have a very black and white view on this. They say, oh, it's because he's friends with Trump or he's calling Trump or whatever it is. But I think it's much bigger than that, right? Eliminate Trump and eliminate whoever else he's friends with. You still have the same massive problem, right? His social network wants the corruption that's happening right now. And they also want, to use Joe Rogan's show as part of this, this. And it's just amazing because people have so much money, they don't need any more money. But it's just like, they just can't get enough, right? So it's like, oh, we want the deregulation, we want the tax benefits, and also we want to go on this big podcast and be able to just lie, to make more money. We'll go on there and say, oh, what did he say? Dreesen talking about, oh, they're debanking people and you know what I mean? Like, go on there and just say a bunch of BS to manipulate voters into voting or supporting things that make these billionaires even more wealthy, right? So they have the platform on Joe Rogan's show, and on the other side of that is Joe Rogan hurting this process, which is taking money away from them, right? Because Trump is making them very wealthy. Don't mess with Trump. You're messing with Trump, you're messing with my money, right? Even though I've got billions of dollars and I don't need no more money, I'm so greedy that I'm gonna be angry with you for taking away my tax benefits, taking away my deregulation. So that's where he's at, man. If you go a little deeper, you say, well, can't Joe Rogan find new friends? Yeah, but that's a big deal. Decades of friendships, and you're just gonna cut them off, and now you're gonna go look for liberal billionaires to be. But again, like I said, it's not about ideology, right? Because the liberal billionaires, like we see, Mark Cuban, they're. Let me not say anything about Mark Cuban specifically, but let's just say more than a few of them are on board. They may pretend otherwise, but they're on board, right? So they're not going to want to be friends with you either, right? They'll pretend like it's just, whatever it is, they're not interested, whatever it is. But reality is like, hey, man, we want the tax benefits, right? We may talk about, equality and this and that, and put a back square up or something on their social media. But in reality, they're all about the money too, right? So the right-wing billionaires don't like you because you're attacking Trump. The liberal billionaires don't want you because, I guess same reason, right? They wouldn't articulate it as attacking Trump. They would say it's because you are what do you call it? You are hurting their money. They wouldn't say that, obviously, right? But that's their feeling. Their feeling is, this jerk off is messing things up. Like, we have, a good deal going on, and you're messing it up. You're a party pooper. So that is what I think is the situation with Joe Rogan and why he is such a sleazebag. Because essentially, let me tell it, I would say Joe Rogan is simply a sleazebag himself, right? But beyond that, he's got a sleazebag circle that will absolutely destroy him if he turns on Trump and gets to, get in the way of their money game. Anyway, this is Baby Channel. Baby, comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.